I was on my knees, wrestling with a rusty hinge on my friend's aunt's front door, when she closed the curtains and looked straight at me. Her eyes, dark, sharp, like they could cut through steel, pinned me in place. I was 20, back in my hometown of Austin, Texas, in the sticky heat of July 2025, just trying to help out. But that look, and the words she said next, hit me like a freight train. My friend's aunt, Ms. Clara Monroe, wasn't just the woman who'd baked us cookies when we were kids. In that moment, she was something else entirely, someone dangerous, someone forbidden, and I couldn't look away. Let me be clear, I didn't go to her house expecting trouble. I was just doing a favor for my buddy, Liam, who'd asked me to fix Clara's door while he was out of town. It was supposed to be a quick job, tighten some screws, maybe replace a hinge in and out in an hour. But when Clara spoke, her voice low and deliberate, it wasn't about the door, it was about me, about her, about something she'd been holding back for years. What do you do when someone you've known forever drops a confession that could burn everything down? Do you pretend it didn't happen? Do you lean into it, even just for a second, to see what it feels like? Or do you run, knowing one wrong move could cost you your best friend, your reputation, maybe even yourself? I'm going to tell you exactly what happened that day, every detail, every heartbeat, every choice I made, or didn't make. But I'm warning you, this story isn't tidy. It's raw, it's messy, and it'll make you question what you'd do in my place. Let's rewind to the start of that summer, June 2025. I was back in Austin after my second year at UT, living in my mom's garage apartment and picking up odd jobs to pay for gas and groceries. College was fine, but I was restless. The kind of restless that makes you drive aimlessly at midnight, chasing a feeling you can't name. Liam, my best friend since middle school, was the opposite. Focused, driven, already landing freelance coding gigs. He was in San Francisco for the summer, working for some startup, while I was stuck in Austin, sweating through Tish, and fixing stuff for his family to stay busy. Clara, Liam's aunt, was a fixture in my life. She was his mom's younger sister, 38, single, and the kind of person who always seemed to know more than she let on. Growing up, she was the cool aunt, sneaking us into R-rated movies, teaching us how to bluff in poker, always laughing that smoky laugh that made you feel like you were in on a secret. She was a freelance graphic designer, worked from home, and lived in a small bungalow on the east side of Austin, all eclectic art and mismatched furniture. I never thought of her as anything other than Liam's aunt. Sure, she was pretty, wavy brown hair, sharp cheekbones, eyes that seemed to see right through you, but she was family, practically, off limits, untouchable. That summer, though, something felt different. Maybe it was me, coming back from college with a new perspective, noticing things I hadn't before. Clara's house was my go-to spot when I needed a break from my mom's questions about my future. I'd drop by to help with small chores, mowing her lawn, fixing a leaky faucet, because she'd always been good to me, and I liked feeling useful. She'd pay me with a cold beer or a plate of homemade tacos, and we'd talk about nothing important, music, movies, the heat. That day, July 15, 2025, Liam texted me from San Francisco. "Yo, Jake, can you check on Aunt Clara's front door? It's sticking again. She's been bugging me about it." No problem, I thought. I'd fixed it before. A warped frame, loose hinges, nothing major. I grabbed my toolbox and drove over, pulling up to her bungalow around 3 p.m. The street was quiet, the air thick with heat and the hum of cicadas. Clara answered the door in a loose tank top and denim shorts, her hair tied back, a glass of iced tea in her hand. "Jake," she said, smiling, "my hero, come on in." We laughed about the door as I got to work, kneeling on her porch with my tools spread out. She leaned against the doorframe, watching me, making small talk about Austin's new food trucks and Liam's big city life. It felt normal, comfortable, until it wasn't. I was halfway through tightening the new hinge when Clara stepped inside and closed the curtains. Not fast, not dramatic. Just slow, deliberate, like she didn't want the neighbors to see what came next. I glanced up, my screwdriver still in hand, and caught her eyes. They weren't playful or casual like usual. They were intense, almost predatory, and they locked onto me like I was the only thing in the world. My stomach twisted, but I kept working, pretending I didn't notice. "Jake," she said, her voice quieter now, "can you come inside for a sec? I need to talk to you." I wiped sweat off my forehead, my heart picking up speed. Sure," I said, trying to sound normal. "Let me just finish this screw. It can wait," she said, and there was an edge to her voice, not harsh but urgent. I set the screwdriver down and followed her inside, my toolbox clattering as I stood. The living room was dim with the curtains closed, the air cooler but heavier, like it was holding a secret. She motioned for me to sit on the couch, but I stayed standing, leaning against the wall, my hands shoved in my pockets. "What's up?" I asked, my voice tighter than I meant it to be. She didn't sit either. She stood across from me, her arms crossed, her eyes searching mine. "I've been thinking about this for a while," she said, her words careful, measured. "About you, about us?" I blinked, my brain short-circuiting. "Us, Clara, what are you talking about?" She took a step closer, and I could smell her perfume, something warm like sandalwood. "Don't play dumb, Jake," she said, her voice low. "I've seen the way you look at me, the way you linger when you're here. It's not just me, is it?" My mouth went dry. I wanted to laugh it off, to tell her she was crazy, but my body betrayed me. My pulse was racing, my hands clammy. Had I looked at her like that? I didn't think so, but now with her standing so close, her words sinking in, I wasn't sure. She was Liam's aunt. She was 18 years older than me. She was forbidden, and yet there was something in the air, something electric, that made it hard to think straight. "Clara," I said, my voice barely above a whisper, "you can't say that. You're Liam's aunt. This is wrong." "Is it?" she asked, her eyes not leaving mine. "I know how it looks. I know what people would say, but I'm not imagining this, Jake. I've felt it for years. Every time you're here, every time we talk, there's something between us. Tell me you don't feel it too." I opened my mouth to deny it, to shut it down, but the words wouldn't come. Because part of me, the part I didn't want to admit existed, felt something. Not love, not exactly, but a pull, a curiosity, a spark I'd never let myself name. She was beautiful, confident, alive in a way that made everyone else seem dull. But she was also off-limits, a line I couldn't cross without losing everything. Liam, my family's respect, my own sense of who I was. "I don't know what you want me to say," I admitted, my voice shaking. "This is a lot." She stepped closer, close enough that I could see the flecks of gold in her eyes. "I'm not asking you to do anything," she said. "I just needed to say it. I needed you to know. Keeping it inside was killing me." The room felt too small, the air too thick. I wanted to bolt, but I also wanted to stay to hear more, to understand why she was doing this. Was she lonely? Was she testing me? Or was this real, something she'd been carrying for years? My mind was a mess, and the worst part was, I didn't hate her for it. I should have, but I didn't. That's when we heard it, the crunch of tires on the gravel driveway. My heart stopped. "Who's that?" I asked, my voice sharp with panic. Clara's face paled. She moved to the window, peering through a slit in the curtains. "It's Maria," she whispered, her sister, Liam's mom. The sound of the car door slamming jolted me back to reality. Clara's confession was still ringing in my ears, but now there was a new kind of fear, being caught in this moment, in her house, with her words hanging between us like a noose. I grabbed my toolbox, my hands shaking. "I need to go," I said, already moving toward the back door. "Wait," Clara said, her voice low but urgent. She grabbed my wrist, her fingers cool against my skin. Jake, please, don't leave like this. Like what? I snapped, keeping my voice down. You just told me you have feelings for me, and now your sister's here. What happens if she walks in right now? Her eyes were wide, pleading. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, she said. I didn't plan it. I saw you today, and it all came out. Footsteps crunched outside, getting closer. My pulse was a drumbeat in my ears. Clara, I have to go, I said, pulling my wrist free. This can't happen. She nodded, her face crumpling. Go out the back. She whispered, she can't see you here, not like this. I didn't argue. I slipped through the kitchen to the back door, my toolbox banging against my leg. My hands were sweaty as I fumbled with the lock, my mind racing. What if Maria saw my truck? What if she asked why I was here? What if Clara told her everything? I pushed the door open and ducked into the backyard, the humid air hitting me like a slap. I crouched behind a row of azaleas, waiting until I heard Maria's voice inside the house, muffled but unmistakable. Clara, you home? She called. I didn't wait to hear Clara's response. I cut through the yard, keeping low, and made it to the street. My truck parked a block away. My heart was still pounding as I climbed in, slamming the door harder than I meant to. I sat there, staring at the steering wheel, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Clara's words played on a loop in my head. I've felt it for years. Tell me you don't feel it too. Had I felt it, I didn't know. I'd always liked Clara. She was fun, sharp, the kind of person who made you feel alive. But I'd never let myself think of her like that. She was Liam's aunt. She was family. But now, with her confession out in the open, I couldn't unsee it. The way her eyes lingered, the way her voice softened when she said my name. It was wrong, it was dangerous, but it was there, like a match waiting to be struck. I avoided her for the next week, ignored her texts, stayed away from her street, buried myself in odd jobs and late night X scrolls, but it didn't help. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped half, hoping it was her, half dreading it. Liam called once, just to catch up, and I could barely keep my voice steady. Did he know? Had Maria said something? Had Clara? Then, 8 days later, she texted me. Jake, we need to talk. I'm sorry for how it happened. Please meet me. I need to explain. I stared at the message, my thumb hovering over the screen. I wanted to delete it, to block her, to pretend none of this had happened, but something stopped me. Curiosity, maybe, or guilt, or maybe, deep down, I wanted to know what came next. I agreed to meet her at a dive bar on the outskirts of Austin, a place with sticky floors and dim lights where no one would recognize us. When I walked in, she was already there, sitting at a corner table, a glass of whiskey in front of her. She looked tired, her usual confidence frayed at the edges. Jake, she said as I sat down, her voice soft. Thank you for coming. I didn't think you would. I shouldn't have, I said, keeping my eyes on the table. What do you want, Clara? Why are we here? She leaned forward, her hands wrapped around her glass. I need you to understand, she said. I'm not trying to hurt anyone, not Liam, not Maria, not you, but what I said. It's real. It's been real for a long time, and I can't keep pretending it's not. I shook my head, my voice low. You're his aunt. You're practically family. This can't happen. I know. She said, her eyes glistening. I know all the reasons it's wrong. But feelings don't care about rules, Jake. They don't just disappear because they're inconvenient. I wanted to argue, to tell her she was out of her mind, but the truth was I didn't know what I felt anymore. There was something about her rawness, her fearlessness, that pulled me in, even as every rational part of me screamed to walk away. That's when the bar door swung open, and I heard a voice that made my blood run cold. Jake, Aunt Clara, it was Liam. Liam stood in the doorway, his eyes wide, his coding conference lanyard still around his neck. I don't know how he found us. Maybe a friend saw my truck. Maybe Maria mentioned something, or maybe he'd sensed something was off. But there he was, staring at me and his aunt in a dive bar we had no reason to be in together. My stomach dropped and Clara's face went pale. Liam, I said, my voice cracking. What are you doing here? What am I doing here? He shot back, stepping closer. What the hell are you doing here with my aunt? Clara stood up, her hands trembling. Liam, it's not what it looks like, she said, but her voice was shaky, unconvincing. Not what it looks like. He repeated, his eyes narrowing. Then what is it? Because it looks like you two are sneaking around behind my back. I opened my mouth to explain, but what could I say? That his aunt had confessed feelings for me, that I was here to tell her it couldn't happen, even though part of me wasn't sure. Every word felt like a trap. We were just talking, I said, but it sounded hollow even to me. Liam's face hardened. Talking, right? He looked at Clara, his voice low. What's going on, Aunt Clara? Tell me the truth. She opened her mouth, then closed it, tears welling in her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. Find out what? Liam snapped, but I could see the hurt in his eyes, the betrayal sinking in. I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. Liam, I'm sorry. I said I didn't. I don't know what's happening. I'm leaving. I walked out, my heart pounding, leaving Clara sitting there, her face in her hands. Liam didn't follow me. I don't know what they said to each other, if Clara told him everything or nothing. I haven't spoken to him since. I haven't seen Clara either. Her words, her look, that moment in her living room. They're still with me, like a weight I can't shake. What do you do when someone you've known forever crosses a line you can't uncross? When a single moment makes you question everything, your choices, your loyalties, yourself. I'm still trying to figure it out. If you've ever been caught in a situation like this, where right and wrong blur into something you can't define, drop it in the comments. What would you have done?